Are you been stopped?
Welcome back to this episode of Mental Health. We have our cast here, Honest T. We have a special guest here. My good friend Dominique is a counselor, and she's going to just enlighten us with her clinical, background. So the question of today is, what do we feel like, or why is there a stigma behind therapy in the Black community?
Okay, and when you say stigma, what exactly do you mean?
Why do you feel like Black people, us, like we just don't go to therapy, or like what is it like?
Yeah, like and address our mental health issues, because clearly we
have them. So why is it such a problem for us to go?
Yeah,
or address them, because nobody actually even addresses mental illness in the Black community.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. I feel like with that, it's a lot of things that play into effect. Meaning our background, you know what I'm saying, about therapy, it really wasn't introduced to us. So, most people know him as the shrink, or, somebody who you telling
or the crazy doctor.
The crazy doctor, yeah. And it's not that. It's really just trying to navigate our triggers and our stressors from our past, and just kind of highlighting them and honoring them, and then finding a positive way to move past it. So
I like that.
To go back to the question of why is it not really kind of enlightened or enforced or brought upon in our community, I just feel like because we don't really know about it. Like, we don't
Ignorance
really know.
Ignorant. I was just going to say that. Yeah,
we just don't know about it.
For the most part.
I will say, talking to a lot of people, they try to act like Black people is excluded from having mental health issues, and that is a problem when we talking to our peers. I say in our age range, when we talking to our peers, everybody act like they just label them as crazy, or somebody just lashing out,
or they just going through something.
Yeah, or they just going through something like for sure. Instead of actually trying to figure out the root cause of what's going on in somebody mental. People don't talk about
and address it if you need to. If that means medication, if that means therapy, if that whatever it is that looks like is what we need to do. But in my opinion, I think that's everybody smoke weed. Not saying everybody on this panel. No, that's what I don't smoke weed. No, what I'm saying.
Disclaimer. I don't smoke weed.
Look, allegedly. Wait a minute. Here I go. Allegedly. Right. No, my thing, when I say everybody, not the people on this panel or what have you. Yeah, the masses. I think we self-medicate. And so, you have people, like I said, that smoke weed and alcohol and, other drugs. So what have you, just
retail.
Just a coast. It's not healing nothing.
Exactly. Just it's a feel good moment.
I was just literally thinking about it the other day. Like, I had stopped smoking as much as I usually do or whatever, and I was in the car and I was thinking about, like, why do I smoke? And then I had got into it with somebody, and then I started smoking. I'm like, I know why I be smoking.
One of your triggers.
And calm me down. But also, I know that I have bad anxiety. I have anger issues that I need to work out, and smoking ain't the answer.
Right.
It's not going to help me in the long run.
It's not going to resolve the real problem.
It's not going to resolve anything. It's literally a temporary fix.
Yeah, it's a Band-Aid.
Because I'm still about to be mad after
exactly. Right.
I'm still mad.
Yeah.
And that also kind of ties back into like our family and like what happened and what we seen growing up. And I think that's also another factor in why, mental health is kind of not honored, because we don't really
You never seen nobody do it.
No one do it. It's kind of like this is what we seen growing up of how to cope with it or how to deal with it. We never really kind of dealt with the issue from the root. We were kind of like looked at it to kind of like sweep it under the rug and keep moving forward. And we so strong,
right?
And we have to be as Black people strong to the outside.
I don't want to be
so
strong.
It's just
no
like
more.
our strong.
I want to be soft.
I want to be soft.
I want to break.
Yeah, we gotta just like break, and it's okay.
But sometimes you need that just to reset. You know, just to reset.
Black people they label us as strong. Like that's the
like we have to be like we have to live up to be strong.
We gotta be this perception that everybody, and then when they see somebody lashing out or having an emotional breakdown, it's
then
like
aggressive.
Then we aggressive, or we being too.
Now y'all scared,
right?
Yeah. Or just any type of label is being put on you. You know,
type of label is being put on us, other than we have a mental disorder.
And you know what's like kind of interesting that y'all say that is because now they kind of dig into a little bit deeper of like our roots and where it come from. Like with us going back to slavery and everything, we had to be physically strong. Our mental was never really fed. So at that point, now that's like how we kind of pass down that generation. We meant to be physically strong, but not mentally. So now we out here, we good on the outside, but on the inner, we fragile.
Toe up, child. I'm like, we toe up on the inside.
Right. Yes. To
because I be
us growing as Black people. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the part that they don't want to get kind of highlighted, our mental health, because we're really strong all the way around. We built a lot of these things out here. A lot of architects back in the day, when we look at our like the hieroglyphics and just old ancient history, like those people who drew and all, like they were African American people. So with that, that's kind of when it ties into that part, you know.
Yeah, and I will say that she's so right about like we was built to be physically strong over mentally strong, because I'll be like, okay, somebody hurt my feelings, words hurt me, and I can say that, and instead of me dealing with that, I'm quick to be like, okay, well now I'm about to fight you. Like now
I'm gonna beat you up.
I'm gonna beat you up, and knowing that I'm physically strong, but that don't. At the end of the day, just because I'm physically strong doesn't rule out the fact that I'm not mentally strong to deal with what you're saying. Because I should be mentally strong to deal with it versus me resulting to violence.
Yeah,
right. Absolutely.
You know, once we do the violence, then that coincides to now what happens after violence. Police get involved.
Yeah.
Right.
You go to jail.
It's a whole
slippery
slippery slope from there.
Slippery slope.
We get too old to be fighting and all that type of stuff. We can't. Our bones can't take that. So
you know what?
Just more when you mentally handle a situation more than physically.
Just talk it out. Communicate. If you can't communicate right then, wait till it die down. Come back a few days later. Like, why you mad at me?
Guess appearance. Perspective on FaceTime. This is my mom. She don't want her
auntie.
Camera,
hey, auntie.
Hey.
Okay, so we're talking about.
Put it to your mic, probably.
We talking about the mental health in the Black communities and why is it a stigma on people
going to therapy or seeking
help? What is your perspective?
Okay. Oh, you ready for my perspective?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, in general, for Black people, from my perspective, it's always been a matter of, I don't know, you have to separate almost Black women, and I say that or males from females, and I say that because in our community, women have always had to play the role of the strong Black woman. So that means I've got to hold down the family. I've got to hold down everything, and I got to put pretty much everything ahead of my own needs. So a lot of the times we suffer in silence because we are putting everything above our own needs and not getting the help that we need. Couple that with, again, like you said, in our community in general, there's a stigma. You know, it's like, oh, well, we don't do that. You know, we pray about it. We pray ourselves.
Then you say that, pray about it,
You know, we don't seek help. We don't want to go out there and get that type of help. And then for Black men, it's a whole nother level.
Okay, right. It get deep.
Yes. Separate. It does.
because inherently, as females, we're more vocal. We're gonna talk about
yeah.
Good, bad,
We most definitely gonna talk about some stuff.
Men are going to internalize
right.
it. They ain't gonna say nothing because of this machismo. That's what I call it. That male.
They pride. It's the pride.
Exactly. They got.
But then not only that, men are taught like not to cry and be, you know,
be tough, be strong. I think that's so unfair.
Well, black men don't want to go into therapy or get therapy because, in general, they have found that to be an unsafe space for them. They feel like they're, being judged, attacked, or what have you. And I said to him, well, if they never entered the space, how can they
even know?
But I get it that they process, and I tell y'all all this all the time. Men definitely process things way far differently than women do.
This is true.
So it's like, how do we get everyone to, to the point where we recognize that our community has been torn apart, and that a lot of the root cause of it is because we're struggling with mental health on different levels. And I truly believe that the infiltration of our community with drugs played a huge role in terms of the mental health that has just not been dealt with. And I say this to you also, Muka, because I'm like, when I look at Gen Z and the millennials and Gen.
Can we just talk about that? Yeah.
It's like everybody, either you had one parent or both parents who was, on drugs. I mean, that's the truth of the matter. And we have not dealt with what did that really do.
What was those lingering effects?
Yeah,
what did that do to us?
Me and my mama was having this conversation, and she was saying like the fact that.
Thank you, Auntie, for your perspective.
Okay, so we about to get back into it. I will call you later. Thank you for your perspective and coming off to the podcast.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, love you.
Love you.
So, I kind of want to highlight about everything she talked about.
Yeah, and she was also saying, we was having this conversation about, she was saying, my mama is older or whatever, and she was here when everybody started doing drugs or whatever, and she always tell me about how Auntie Benita, Uncle Cece, made sure that her and Auntie Mo didn't get on drugs or whatever. Like, they was protective of them.
Yeah.
And they was, even with them being on drugs and everything like that, she said they were very protective of them. And all the drugs that got dropped into, it's not a thing, like, this is not nothing that nobody know about.
Yeah.
They brought drugs into our community and had people on drugs or whatever. Like,
because that's how else would they gonna get it?
It's a way to control.
Literally, it was a way to control. Like,
and weaponize it for black people.
Yeah. So my mom was saying that it was a big effect, and that people don't realize how that affected their children. Like, everybody being on drugs, and we all came from parents that was on drugs. They don't realize,
and then it trickles down.
Yeah,
it trickles down.
Some traits or some, factors.
Even if the person didn't get on drugs, like, say, because you don't smoke weed or nothing,
I'm seeing clear.
Okay.
Disclaimer: I do not do drugs.
Say no. Crack is wet.
Okay. And right is right and wrong is wrong.
With you working
hilarious. So I need to keep that.
Drugs, it still affected you in some kind of way.
Of course.
You didn't get on drugs, but at the same time, it still affected you.
Yeah. Of course.
Like, it still affected us with our parents. Both my parents wasn't on drugs. My mama said whether one parent or both parents. I only had one parent on drugs. But it still affected me in some kind of way. And we don't recognize that. Like, you might not be on drugs.
Right.
But where did you come from?
And I feel like mental health has been a thing for, like, so long. But, like, this year, it has really been, like,
hit hard,
huge. Like, with social media and everything, like, the people that's, like, truly like extremely depressed, like they going on the internet,
social media,
and they expressing themselves before they actually commit like suicide.
Yeah, because we done seen so much of that. People committing suicide and they reaching out to everybody, and nobody not actually believing them or paying attention or anything that's going on, and then the next thing you know, everybody crying.
Or somebody saying, "Oh, they just want attention."
Even if
they
do, give it to them.
We quick to water something down or diminish somebody's feelings.
Jump in after this person then committed suicide.
Like they are really like
so sad. I'm hurt that you're not here.
Through with like committing suicide, like they doing it. Like I've been seeing that a lot this year, and I just feel like it should be talked about every day, because especially for everybody, but I feel like me as a first time mom, like when you go through like postpartum depression, like that is like so real, like, and I feel like the dads especially, they don't be like understanding like the severity of your depression when you like just first having a baby. You got this baby with this baby all the time, the baby crying, like that'll just mess up somebody mental, plus on top of whatever else they got going on.
Do you think, like with postpartum, I don't have any children, but like what helps it? Like family helping you out, or do you want to be around people? Do you not want to be?
With me having 3 kids, and I'm on 27, I had my first baby at 19, and I will say I'm gonna speak on something that I literally never talked about. I probably only told the twins, I never really talked about it. But when I was having London, and I was living with my mama at the time, but at the same time, my mama wasn't a big help. She like, you got to figure this out on your own. And London used to be waking up in the middle of the night crying. And one day, I just wanted to smother her. And you don't understand why people.
She did not smother the baby.
I didn't. My baby is still here. She 8. She is still living, breathing. But I'm saying this is what happened when I was 19.
Some people
and
like
you understand your frustration, and people do end up killing
absolutely.
You can understand it. It's not like you can't.
I always said that.
Like, why they do that?
You know why they did it, but
they did it. Like they frustrated.
Don't sound right.
They don't have. It don't sound right. They don't have no help. Yeah. And there's a lot of people. I have all the help in the world, like from both sides. From my baby daddy side of the family, including my side of the family. If I call one of them and be like, I can't do it right now. If I call you, I can't do it right now. Please come get my kids.
You're not somebody there. Baby,
But it's a lot of people out here that don't have that support or cannot call on nobody. And it may sound
like so harsh, like so horrible. And they shouldn't have to keep something like that a secret. No. Like, you should be able to express yourself without people be like, oh my God, she is like so crazy. Like, ooh, we need to watch out for her to get her kids.
Like, and
that's the thing. Like, some people have the same thoughts. It's just
you can understand
somebody else verbalize it or be vocal about it. It's just like, it's like it's
why you say that out loud?
Like, why would you say that? But no, stand in your truth. Like, I have went through this. I understand where you coming from. Like, I am a mother. I was a young mother.
That's how I got through it. And
Breon had her kids before we all did. Like, and with me and her, I had my kid right after her. With her, I literally watched. She's struggling, and I'm there to me and Bria there to help her. Like, I don't care what you going through. Cry all day. If you gotta leave your baby with me, I'm here for you. Like, we gotta
play a major part too. People don't have that.
Your village.
Your village.
It takes a village to raise a child, and I don't understand why people don't. They be like, I can do it by myself. No,
like, why you lying? You know you want to break.
You want to break. Everybody be like, why y'all want to break from y'all kids anyways? Do y'all not understand? I'm taking care of somebody else. I gotta worry about somebody else's needs. What they thinking? You don't know what no baby thinking. A whole human.
That's what this was. We said a whole human. What you was finna say, Shanta?
They can't even talk.
Wait a minute, Shanta.
I mean, I wanted her to finish, but like, because my perspective of mental health, right? I don't have no children, but I have a personal experience. But I wanted to know what else you were gonna say. Before I get
yeah. Okay, cool, perfect. So after listening and just observing and gathering all information, with that, it's like kind of lack of knowledge, and that becomes like stems from it goes to our education. If we don't really know how to process these things, right, and then they look at therapists like, oh, don't go talk to them, they're shrinks or blah blah blah. they are kind of educated to be able to help you navigate those situations and kind of how to handle them in that way, in that moment, to be able to have a healthy outcome.
Right.
Like you say, and when you go talk to these therapists or to a therapist like myself, you just have to understand we don't know anything. Like, we don't know what's going on. All we knowing is what you're telling us. And once we gather that information and we come up with a good, solid plan that's documented and is proven, it helps just bring some ease to you. So now when you're in those frustration moments, you have certain coping skills that you can kind of go through to bring you down, bring your anxiety and everything down from a 10 to like a 1.
Yeah.
Those are things you learn in therapy. So, and like for us with the Black community, where they go back, so, don't go to them. They don't know what they talk about. They have a lot of tips and tricks to help you, as well as resources. So now you can reach out to get extra support or the things that you may lack. Now you can get opportunities to get access to that, and now it helps lessen everything as well as bring peace in your heart. So that's why I'm just listening, and I'm like loving everything you're saying, because it's like everything you're saying, the therapist helps you handle that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they don't know you. They let you help break it down, and then it's not like this what you should do. Like, no, we really
it's just a suggestion
of how you should do it. And if you do it and it works out,
and just because somebody don't necessarily go through what you going through, don't mean that they can't give you advice that you can use.
That's true. Yeah. That's
like, true. Nobody in this room that went through the same exact situation.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody is going, but somebody has went through something similar that you have.
Yes.
It might not be the same exact thing, but somebody can tell you, like, this is how I handled this situation.
Absolutely.
Or this is how you can go about this. You can give me some advice. If I'm coming to you like I'm so stressed out, I don't know what to do. You be like, okay, take a minute.
Yeah, because we're all looking at things through a different lens. So even if I have not ever gone through that or anything similar, I can still look from a different lens and say, hey, this is what I feel like, or this is what I see.
Maybe you haven't went through it, but somebody
No, absolutely.
And or you can give a perspective just based off of how you feel deep down in your heart. You might not have kids, but you want kids.
Yeah.
So you know how that you're going to react when you do have them. Like, you don't know exactly how you're going to navigate life when you had kids. But also, like, I'm going to try my best at this situation. So I could tell somebody else, like, maybe you could try these tips.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do this.
Yeah.
And everybody look at it like, oh, you don't got kids, so you can't tell me nothing.
Yeah. I don't like that at all.
I want you to speak on, Shanta. I know we were...
that plays a major role.
Alcohol, yeah. I just want you to speak on, I know before we got started, you were saying, like, what are we talking about? And, I got stuff to say with this and so on and so forth. So, I want to hear what you have to say as well. Because, listen, I'll be the first person to tell you, I have my be cools on standby. Okay? Because that's what I call them. Yeah, they my be cools.
And everybody be like, you got to be cool.
Right, exactly. Because, hey, we need to bring it all down. Because I know, like I said, Mooka was saying anxiety and all the rest of that. Like, and it's like, okay, so I snap somebody's neck. Let me, you know what I'm saying, break it down. But go ahead.
Smoke before I go anywhere. I got to be cool.
So
I don't care what y'all say.
My journey is, my personal journey, right, is, shit. He said, go on and cry if you're going to cry.
Right, absolutely.
When I talk to people, I don't cry, right? But I'm such a big advocate for, like, therapy, and I'm a big advocate for medication if you need it, because I'm on medication. But so I've had anxiety for years. Like, I don't like going to stores. I don't like big crowds. I don't like stuff like that. It always triggers something. I'd be like, am I having a panic attack, or I don't know if do you say panic or anxiety attack?
Social anxiety,
attack, but it's social anxiety.
Okay,
when you have that fear of just going around,
or just crowds. Like overwhelmed, like if everything coming at you at once and everything
overstimulated
all day. Right. Yeah. So I was never like diagnosed, but I knew I had it. So when everybody started working at home, COVID hit, and being in the house, seeing everything with police brutality, you go down rabbit holes, and then just other factors in life. I was a triple minority at my job. I was one of the only Black people, one of the only females, and one of the only Americans in an engineering company that I was working at. By trade, I'm a mechanical engineer.
Okay. Black girl magic.
Okay. So it was just really hard, like navigating this. And I would tell my boss, like, I'm having a hard time. And verbatim, his words were, I hope he never watched it. Verbatim, his words were,
He's still your boss?
No.
Okay.
I'm different now. So, his words were, I mean, yeah, but like work still got to get done, right?
Oh, wow.
And I, even though you understand that, like you got to push past it, in that moment you like, what's going on, right? So then, on top of that, it was, the whole imposter syndrome, because I've been working with these white people for I don't know how long. Before that, I was at a different company. A close friend of our family had a tragic passing, a drunk driving accident. It was,
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was like, whoo. And this was all on the heels of like, I'm waking up every day crying. Mm-hmm. I literally was crying every day, feeling like my chest was heavy and everything. Like, I don't want to do this. And all I had to do was go down to my office, down the 2 doors down from my bedroom, mm-hmm. and start working. I was like, I can't do this. So fast forward, I was off work for 10 months last year. I am currently on an anxiety med and a antidepressant. But just going through that process and that journey to like, my psychiatrist was like, I'm going to send you back to work because I've never had somebody off for this long. And I was like, that don't have nothing to do with me.
Exactly.
And
it's a new case study.
I literally went into my doctor's office, like I went into my primary care's office, like, I just need help. Like, I laugh about it now, mm-hmm. but I was like, I just need help. Like, somebody help me. And come almost a year ago, so come like Thanksgiving time, or last year, Thanksgiving into December, I actually was going to an everyday partial hospitalization program. 9 to 3. So it was like a work day. And doing like group therapy.
It helped. Did it help?
I'm talking about that saved my life. And it was, I didn't realize like
what you needed until you got it.
I didn't realize because I was waking up still. I couldn't go to, insomnia, all these things. And I was coming around like everybody. Yeah. I'm sure we done had a couple of mm-hmm. things. I would see y'all and I
we
would
ain't
just.
Know nothing.
Exactly. Internally,
this is what I'm doing.
I'm like,
absolutely.
You put on this face and you put on whatever you got to do mm-hmm. to get through that time. Mm-hmm. But at home, I might be in the bed all day. I might not I'm taking a shower that day. I might not. I'll probably brush my teeth every day though. But it was hard. Like, because I'm trying to
navigate what you're going through. You don't necessarily know.
I'm getting up and I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? Because I never, like, in the program, they used to ask us, like, on a scale of 1 to whatever, or have you had suicidal thoughts in the last 24 hours? I've never had or thought of having the courage to kill myself, but there were definitely plenty of days where I woke up and I didn't want to be here.
Yeah.
Feel like it'll be better than what I'm dealing with.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the things that I felt that I was dealing with, I didn't think constituted me to be like, I need this help.
You didn't think it was that severe.
So I didn't think it was that severe. So now I'm like, sitting in this room and in these groups with these people who are like, I tried to kill myself last week. That's why I didn't come to the program. And I'm like,
it's a spectrum. I don't think I'm there, but I'm on the verge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, why do I think that my problems are this big?
When people around you who's dealing with more.
Right.
And that's why I love the fact of groups, because groups put you in a perspective with a whole different set of people.
And it show you the spectrum.
Who are dealing with more severe situations than you.
Right.
So now it kind of gets you in that mind frame and taking a step back like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, my life isn't that bad.
Right.
Okay, I can work through what I'm going through.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If I ignore it and keep moving forward, I know that this will be kind of the realm of where I will end up because I'm listening to my peers around me and this is what's going on. So now it makes you aware, and then now it kind of educates you like, okay, something is wrong, which is the first thing is acceptance. I feel like once everyone can come to acceptance with therapy or just accepting that something is wrong, that's helped you. That gives you that's that power and that strength to keep you to get to now I need to get better because I don't want this to be this way.
Right.
So then I think that's why like the education part comes into it too. Once you kind of learn about it and just go through the path. And I just want to like kind of highlight right now the space you're in now from overcoming everything you went through, because that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then also kind of knowing the system of this world and how it's set up is also another big factor. Like with you going into that realm, being the only Black female in the engineer field, that was just
a lot in itself.
That was like powerful and you didn't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
But you just didn't understand at that moment just what you're up to. So what you're taking that 10 months off, I feel like that was really great for you to do, because now it kind of steps you back to see, okay, I got in what I'm doing, but now I see it's a little cutthroat.
Mm-hmm.
It's they don't care about me. They, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now it takes a step back to kind of build you internally, outwardly,
and
to be
and
faced
you know
what's
what?
to come.
The previous company that I was at, I was there for 7 years, and it was like a majority, white males, but they were mostly American. And then I went to this other company that I was with for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, do y'all talk English? Or everybody got this
really.
accent? Or, you know what I mean? And it was, yeah. But also, not to cut you off, but I hate when people say that, because it'd be like, you really are cutting me off.
Right.
But,
you gotta say,
like
not to cut you off, but to interject. You gotta say that.
No
part.
shade,
Not to cut
shade
coming. Not to cut you off, but to interject.
Yes.
disrespectful, but
Right.
you feel very disrespectful.
Right.
I think it was eye opening for one. Like you said, from building from the inside out, and realizing what I needed for myself, like what I need to do, what I'm still working on, where I'm able to be like, oh, if they mad, it's really not that big of a deal. Because my peace is more important.
Peace is more
for taking
important.
10 months off.
I commend you too,
because
because that's hard to
That's
do.
what you needed.
Yeah, that's what I would
within
say is
itself.
that what I would say, just a little short intro, is that I'm going to say is people tend to bounce back after 2 or 3 days. Like, oh, they was sad or whatever. But then it's like, I got to get back up.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get myself back up. I can't let nobody see me
Exactly.
down. And that is not good. Like, at the end of the day, we're still dealing with something internally. Mm-hmm. I feel like that I've been going through postpartum since I had my first child, and now is looking up, and my first child is 8 years old. I haven't actually dealt with the root issue or the cause, because everybody expected me to
keep moving,
get back.
And guess what? You have to recognize your stressors as well, and be able to do something about the ones that you actually can.
Yeah.
So I just recently went to my manager. I work in an office where I am the only Black person, like, in the department. And I do home health care and do the intake of it. And it's a lot, because it's like a lot of balls, like, that you juggling in the air. It's the intake portion. It's the, let me find a nurse to go out and see. So you got to play this game with the nurses. Oh, Kelly, can you follow the person or go and start the person? Hey, no, I can't go. And, okay, well, Mark, can you go and start? Yeah, I can follow, but I can't start. You know what I'm saying? Like that sort of thing. But then if my manager called him and say, hey, I'll offer you extra money to do it, now people are available. And then, or you'll do all of that and then get a person started, because you got 24 to 48 hours to make this happen, because you got like a deadline, and then you'll do all of that, and then the nurse will go out and they'll send the person back to the hospital. So like you did all of this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
start back at 1.
Yeah, to start right back at 1. And like I said, you got this 24 to 48 hour thing once you get this referral in to get people out. And it's just like, you have like 3 or 4 different ways that referrals are coming in. 2 people doing like a 4-person, job or what have you. And I'm just like, okay, I got this. I got RSVP. We starting the podcast. SLK taxes.
Where we're recording this lovely podcast.
Yes. So building the house, trying to get, that paperwork and stuff done. SLK taxes is about to come back around tax season.
She gonna do y'all. She get me together.
It's crazy.
She pulled me from the bottom. and give me a couple dollars every year.
Shout out to Mika.
Indeed. But the thing is, it's like, okay, so all of those stressors, they're there. It's nothing I can really do about those. You know, I just said to Bria, like, real. I may handle, you know, I may pass like some SLK taxes off to her. Shout out to Bria because she been helping us at RSVP every weekend. Like,
go
she came through. Yes, exactly.
Tell them to up the pay.
The price went up. Right. But the thing is,
what you want to do?
Right. Right. But the thing
thing
is, I recognize like another position came up. Okay, like wait a minute, my makeup finna. Do I need the fan? Look, but anywho, another position came up where it was like, okay, we came back to the drawing board because nobody could make it in our department. Like I said, it's a lot. Mm-hmm. You know, we went through 3 people in 2 months. One girl quit. The other 2 got fired. One got fired in the first week just because they wasn't able to, you know, keep up. Like I said, with this catch on and keep up. And it's in an environment where they don't really have a formal training because it's so much to the job. You know, you got to be able to come in there and sort of kind of jump in and know what you, or either just kind of, you know, figure it out. You know,
I'll figure it out tomorrow.
So, yeah, exactly. So,
but that's what a lot
it was like, I actually have been the first person that have actually, you know, made it through the position. But then when she came, you know, and I was just like, I don't know. I was telling her like, well, no, I'm going to stay in intake, you know, whatever. And then so I was talking to Reggie, talking to my husband. I was like, babe, this is, you know, I was like, it's like they find every little thing to nitpick with, you know, whatever. I was like, and this is a stressor that I can actually control.
Right.
You know, like, hey, you know, I don't have to do this. Like, I can easily find something else or just whatever. And I went to my manager and I talked to her and I was like, hey, you know, that other position, is it still available? Because, and I explained to her the same thing. Like, this is a stressor that I can control. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily have to be here. Mm-hmm. You know, like my granny used to say, I was looking for a job when I found this. So it's like, I can go and get
look for another one.
Yeah, and get another position or whatever. Like, so is this available? Mm-hmm. And so I ended up, and, you know, she was like, well, the other managers will be back here on Monday or whatever. And I switched to the other position, and I was telling her, the young lady that I was working with, she's been there for like about 3 years, and like I swear she is like the CEO of the company or wanna be, you know. And so she's like very, you know, everything is just like this and nobody can do things the way that she does them, and you know, so on and so forth. And you know how we are as a people, we're like really direct. And I told my manager that, I said, so she sit over there and she's slamming stuff and she's saying stuff and doing stuff, you're not talking directly to me, I don't have anything to say to you. But when you come at me, make sure you ready, because I'm coming guns blazing, you know. But I'm gonna do it in a nice corporate, you know, way. And then when I did that, here she come crying, you know, acting like I was.
Why you made that girl cry for me, girl?
Girl, listen.
You was at work.
You know.
Always trying to come guns blazing.
I'm coming guns blazing. That's the problem. I was able to switch to the new job, and when I
but you made that girl cry.
And wait, I'm gonna get back to that. But for the last week, because I've been doing the position for like a week now. When I say it's so Lester, I'm just like, I'm in my office by myself. Nobody is bothering me. I don't really have to be bothered like that. I do my job, and that's it. But yes, Ray, I made her cry.
That's therapy within itself. You identified what your stressor was, what your role was.
Yeah.
You got offered a position to switch to something better, but you brought the stress down. So now it helps your anxiety. So like, if we all kind of listen to all our situations, y'all all are doing therapy by themselves and don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, once you go to a therapist and you kind of lay it out, and then they tell you a little bit of what you already kind of really know. It's like a light bulb, like boom. I was doing this right.
But you know what that is the self-awareness. And paying attention to that. Like, because not only with other people do you have to take accountability, you have to take accountability with yourself
as well.
So it's like, and like my situation,
don't sweep it under the rug. You have to address it.
I don't want to be having panic attacks where I'm laying on my office floor and can't move. Like I literally was on a meeting and couldn't say nothing the whole 45 minutes that I was on this meeting, or you know what I'm saying, like so. Being self-aware to the point where you be like,
I need help.
Something is going on.
Yeah.
I can now
stop it. Everything.
Stop it. And I can now be like
everything. I gotta hold.
I'm spinning out of control.
Take the time to show yourself. So some people will say that's selfish. No, it's not selfish. How can I be of help to others if I can't help myself?
Absolutely.
Right. So once you stop and you realize your stress and what's going on, and you really say, you know what, my life is stopping right now.
I can't give no more of what I don't have.
So I can't sit in the meeting and know I'm not personally internally hurting.
Right.
So you gonna hold off because your business.
What you say, Bria?
But my life is
more important.
Yeah. So when you do that and then you come back, you good. So it's like rebuilding yourself.
Outside. I just took a mental health day Tuesday and didn't tell nobody. I laid in the bed all day.
All day.
I feel like mental health day should be.
What you say? Bria, like I can't get my little
wait. Bria gonna say something. I gotta wrap it up.
God, what you about to say, girl?
I don't be interrupting nobody. But I was about to say, like, with my mental health, like, when I had my baby, like, it was like, I couldn't find a job for, like, 10 months. And I'm just like, I'm about to go crazy. Like, of course, I enjoyed the time with the baby and everything, but I'm just like, I'm the type of person that I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
I might quit, find a new job.
Bria don't quit.
Look, big facts. Big
Bria don't quit.
I am the total opposite. I am the total opposite.
But wait, what were you gonna say, Bria? Like, what was?
But I still keep me a job or whatever. But I was like, I cannot find a job, so I'm just stressed out. Like my mental health, like I was like thinking to myself, like, don't be thinking you like crazy for real, because you really just going through something. You just have my ear, like I'm sorry.
Then we just say going through something.
But I mean, when
if you gotta cry, girl, go ahead and cry.
You got through it, Bria, and you realize what it was.
And if you
realize what it was. Yo, I think this conversation was great, but I do believe we have to wrap it up.
As we wrap it up. Hey, look, part two, because mental health can get a little bit.
This is the honesty for real. Okay, what you got to say?
So go ahead. Like close us out.
So Dominique, why don't you close us out?
Okay.
Yeah, so I just want to commend everybody for sitting here. Y'all don't know me. Opened up, poured y'all soul out to me, and I just want to say keep going. Don't let nothing deter you. Keep moving forward. Seek therapy. It's really helpful. Even if you don't go for a long time, go for a little bit, get what you need, and come back, and it's gonna work out. So I just want to say therapy is really good for anyone in need or just need help. Reach out, have your support system, have your love system.
Absolutely.
Seek spiritual connection, and it's gonna all work out. And that's all I just want to say. Therapy is really amazing. In our Black community, definitely do it.
We need it.
Absolutely need it.
Okay.
And cry. Let it
I'm
out.
gonna quit a job within 2 days. I don't care if I don't like it.
Hey, look, and that's how Mooka ending it, okay? Look, where her drink at? Hey, cheers. Thank you.